Greetings to you. It's very interesting when humans think they know things. We would even use the word amusing to talk about when humans think they know things. But we will humor you because we understand that it can be quite an exhilarating thing to know things. We ourselves have had our time as scholars on the planet. However, it's always interesting when you start to get out of the volumes of what has been written. Because as you understand, a lot of the metaphysical information, a lot of the spiritual information that's been accessed on the planet at this time tends to be re-understandings, reimaginings, reinterpretations of the types of truths that humanity has long known. Perhaps not consciously, and perhaps it has just been a select few, but the spiritual truths, some would say, are timeless. And so what the different religions and the different philosophies and the different types of scholarly pursuits do is they try to reimagine and bring these texts and these sets of knowledge, these capsules of information into your current cultural context. Agree? And then there has been a real move in the last 50 or 60 years that has really gotten beyond the Akashic records for the Earth and started to move into what's happening in your galactic field. So there has been a lot of information and truths and texts, and again, reimaginings, reworkings, reinterpretations, all of the same thing, that have been coming in the form of other than earthly origins. But what we really want to be talking to you about on this night is there anything new? What is new? Because new is a word that this one has certainly used quite a lot. Agree? If you look at the text that they've just written, it's got new written all over it. And yet what we're going to say to this one is that none of the knowledge there is actually new, but the conditions on the planet are. The conditions on the planet, thus, your cultural seeding for humanity at this time is what is new. So this period on the planet is really about how do we reinterpret and bring into a current cultural context truths that are universal. Agree? Because humanity hasn't really known how to deal with universal truth. It's always tended to put it in certain categories, put rules around it, structures around it, do you understand? So that it can be digested, followed, ritualized, and so it can be contained. But real truth cannot be contained. In fact, real truth can't even be held for a moment within the human mind. The human mind can have glimpses of truth, but most often, and especially for those of you that have had glimpses of truth, it is more of a whole body experience rather than a mind acknowledgement. Would you agree? Because those of you in this room who have had experiences that you can't explain, but you would classify as spiritual, have no words to even describe what has occurred. And you struggle with that. Agree? So we want to begin this evening by redefining what spiritual truth is, because it has absolutely nothing to do with knowledge, and it has absolutely nothing to do with information. It has to do with recognition. Now, the human term of recognition is, if I have information in this memory bank, which we call the human brain, and I see something or experience something and I can find a match for it, that is recognition. But that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is whole body resonance. That is the recognition. Do you see? So, there will be a time on this planet where books and volumes of information will become completely unnecessary, as they are in other planetary systems. Because all that needs to happen is that the bodily resonance says yes, and there is no questions after that. What is it that you need to know? Because the reason that humans go on a quest for information and a quest for knowledge is so that they can feel safe. Would you agree? Isn't that what information is about? Isn't it about feeling safe? Feeling like you know what's happening? Feeling like in a human contextualized form, you have a little bit more control over what is happening? Unfortunately, most information on the planet now is about how to control things. True? So really, information is really about feeling safe. And those of you who know anything about what has been happening with you and are conscious about what has been happening with you in the last 4 or 5 years, you know that your safety is not coming from what this is doing. Agree? In fact, your safety is coming from, it's all right, calm down, you don't know what you're doing. Do you see it? So the intelligence foundation for knowledge is shifting from mind ability to translate to body ability to recognize. Now this is very important because it's also what you do when you start to move into culturally and within your relationships with each other. Your body intelligence is giving you recognition. It's giving you more information about that person than any kind of dossier or thesis on that person could tell you. Because all you really need to know is the information that tells you there is recognition. Agree? You are safe. Now, it's easy to dismiss this as, well, that makes sense. That's perfectly logical. Yes, yes. We thought we were going to find out some interesting things tonight. But if you actually begin to understand that the only thing you're really looking for is that safety, you completely reposition where you're directing your energy. Completely reposition it. Because what it means is that there is absolutely nothing outside here in terms of bodies of knowledge that can give you that safety. Nothing outside of you can give you that safety. What can give you the safety is checking in and checking to see if the safety is there. So this is really an uneducation. We're seeing we're challenging a few of you with this, but that's all right. It'll come full circle by the end of the night. This one's saying, really? That's good. So that is how we begin our evening, because we're going to start to talk to you about some concepts with how you can feel that you are the navigator in your own experience with this. Because what some of you have discovered is that there's not really a lot of your self-perceived control involved in whether or not you feel safety. True? Sometimes you feel collective fear and you don't feel safety because you don't see the resonance in it. But there are ways that you can actually drop into the resonance despite what the appearances around you are. And that way you always have access to truth. All right.